Hello. I am Nikki from Exotic Party Creations, and today I'm going to show you how to make a custom air freshener using a regular household iron. So if you missed this video on how I made these dog tags and how I made this class of 2023 keychain using the same technique, don't forget to go back and check that out. Alright, so what I'm going to start by doing is I'm going to be cutting two of these here images away from the paper, because the air freshener is going to be front and back. For this, I like to get very close. Like, I don't like to leave any white borders on, because that'll give you a false sense of security. You'll be thinking that you're printing on the entire image, but you're printing on white. So let's cut off the entire white areas. Doing a kiss cut, we're doing what they call a kiss cut, not leaving any white on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my heating mat so that all the heat can go into this mat and not on my cutting mat, because I have experience with the heat hitting my mats, causing all kind of dents and disfigurements. So this is why maybe you need to use a heating mat as well, so you do not mess up your table surface. With this, I am going to lint roll. To get any lint that may be on it. And I'm going to spray it. I am using basting adhesive spray. This is a temporary bond. They have a red can. The red can is the permanent. You do not want to use the red can on this, because your paper is going to stick to your air freshener. So use the temporary bond, because the temporary bond is going to automatically release when that heat hits it. Okay, so don't worry about, oh, it might stay and stick. No, that temporary bond will release after the heat hits it. This is going to be the diamond air fresheners. You'll tell by the hole being up here in the corner and not the square where the hole would be there. So if you decide to purchase the diamond shaped air freshener, make sure you design your image using the diamond shaped template. The templates will be found in EPC Crafters members group under the templates page, and we do have them for sale in our on our website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the image down. I am going to make it into that diamond shape, and I'm going to put my air freshener on top and rub it down. With this excess paper here, I'm going to flip it over so it's going to be on top of the back side of the air freshener. I'm going to add another sheet, so when I get ready to press, my iron is not directly on the heat mat. And I'm going to flip it. So as I flip it, you'll see that the image is going to be on the top and the air freshener is going to be at the bottom. You always want to make sure that your image is to the top and the item that you're sublimating on is to the bottom. With this here, you want to kind of get an outline of where your image is, because with this, the iron is not big enough to cover the whole thing. So you're basically going to be doing 2 presses with this, 4 in total, because you're going to have to press the back as well. So right here, I'm going to use that as my guide. I'm going to press. Let me see if I can show you. So right here I can see where my air freshener center is. So I'm going to use that point to press at half mark. I'm going to apply heavy pressure and press for 45 seconds. Heavy pressure. So this here iron I did purchase from Walmart. I paid less than $12 for it. It's going to be the Black & Decker. And it's nothing fussy about it. I have no water inside. There is, you want to make sure that you're not on the steam setting. And matter of fact, I'm going to put it on cotton. For this here, I'm going to make sure I'm on cotton. I have never put water in this iron. I'm using it strictly for sublimating. All right, that's been about 45 seconds. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip it towards me, and I can tell right here by the indent where I need to start off, because you can see the yellowing of the iron where the iron was. So I'm going to put it right about here. Want to make sure I'm on it. So for another 45 seconds. And of course you will have some overlapping. All right, so that has been 45 seconds. So I do have my heat resisting gloves, and I'm just going to open this up. And there you have it. Alright, so that's going to be the front side of your air freshener. Let's go ahead and do the same thing as we just did for the front on the back. And of course you want to make sure you throw away your paper that you just used. You always want to start off with fresh paper, especially if it has ink. Since this part down there was not touched, I'm going to cut that away, but I'm going to throw the other part in the garbage. We're going to do the same thing for the back side. I'm going to get my lint roller and roll it. I'm going to have to grab a larger sheet of paper. Spray it. And I'm going to kind of iron this down just a tad bit to see if I can get it straight. Spray. And the spray that I just used also helps to secure your image in place. And then with this on top, both of them will be secured to the paper. So you then don't have to worry about it moving, nor do you have to worry about using tape, because as you can tell, it's on there. I'm going to fold it. And I'm going to fold close to the end. That way I know where to start off my print. Okay. So now we need to flip it because we need to have our paper on top. I'm going to place it this way. And once again, heavy pressure, 45 seconds. All right, that's been 45 seconds. Now let's go ahead, open it up. It has cooled down, and then let's remove the paper. And here you go. Let's make sure that you don't kind of mess it up so it does not bend on you. Now let's go ahead and basically I'm just going to add another sheet of paper because now I am about to spray my air freshener. And I'm going to be spraying it on here. That way it's not all over my work table or get all over my mat. Alright, so before we spray our air freshener, let's go ahead and apply our elastic cord that we're going to hang from the windshield with. I'm basically going to put it side by side and I'm going to knot it at the ends. Once I get my knot at the end, I am going to cut it. Any excess that may be lingering. So you should have something like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bottom end and weed it through that small hole and bring it up. Alright, and that is how you will apply your cord. Now let's go ahead and spray it. So what I like to use for my air fresheners is the Blunt Effects. This one here is going to be Pina Colada. If you decide to order from us, there will be other list of fragrance you can choose from. But I like the Blunt Effects because it's oil. You want to make sure you have some type of 100% concentrated oil fragrance to apply to your air freshener. You also want to make sure that you give it a while for the ink and stuff to settle in. But basically what I do is I would do maybe 4 sprays on the front and 4 sprays to the back. And if you want to add, I'm quite sure, I believe I jumped the gun, but if you wanted to add to make this even a little more special, let's add a jump ring that will dangle from the end of it. Let's put a 2023 pendant at the bottom. And how I'm going to do that, I'm just going to poke a hole right up in here. You can use a hole punch if you like, but I'm just going to punch a small hole. And you barely can see it. But there's the back. And I'm just going to thread this here through it. And I really should have did this before spraying it. And if I had another jump ring, I would have added at least 2. Matter of fact, I do have something. So I'm gonna just take this here jump ring from off this here. I'm just gonna take them. I'm gonna open it up. Close it back. Add this here jump ring to the 2023. Attach it to here. and close it. Alright, I do suggest that you do this here part before spraying, because you don't really want to be touching that spray. When shipping the air fresheners out, I do have some 4x6 bags that I would put them in. Also, I do have a warning label that's saying, you know your state laws when it comes to having things dangling from your rearview mirror. Also, make sure that you put on the back, especially if you're going to add a spray with it, because that's an option too. Like in a small, and let me show you my little small freshener bottles. I might as well show the whole thing. So I do give the customer option whether or not they would like to have a small 0.5 ounce spray bottle. I believe it's 0.5, maybe 0.3 spray bottle to accompany it with, so when the fragrance run out, they can respray it with the same fragrance or use their own. So basically, I have the bottle and my little syringe, plastic syringe. I remove some from the bottle and then fill the bottle with it. And this is going to be a spray bottle. Alright, before I make a complete mess, I just make sure I put the top back on, because I'd rather waste this small one than a big one. And then just put the smaller top back on. And then they have an extra spray to keep their freshener going. On here, I do have a little sign that I have that says, warning, do not spray on your furniture or on clothes. Also, do not swallow, not meant for kids, blah blah blah. And then I will wrap that around there with tape and stick it in the bag, just like that. But that's normally how I do it. Put my warning labels on the outside, put my barcodes, and ship it off that way. But I am going to take this out because I do not like to, I like for it to dry a little bit. I just wanted to show you what size bags you can use for this one. That's going to be the 4x6 inch. And what I'll do now is I'll just hang it overnight and allow it to dry before putting it in the bag, because if it's wet, then your ink may start smearing on the image. So I give it some time to dry before shipping. I'll give it to the customers. Alright, I am Nikki from Exotic Party Creations. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you do not miss another video. And I am gone for real this time. See ya. So you want to make sure that your iron is on the cotton setting and that you have no water inside when pressing your image. You want to make sure that you do heavy pressure.